Go ahead.
Oh, where's my slurpee? Where's my slurpee? Hey.
Hi, Jackie. Is he still there? You're gonna sit by yourself?
Meeting will now come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Take a roll call, please. Mr. Fernandez. Mrs. Gaddy here. Mr. Kraus is absent tonight. Mr. Beaver. Here. Mr. Masiello. Here. Mrs. Romano. Here. Mrs. Zugabe. Here. Right, I'm going to, may I have a motion to appoint Sarah Lively temporary chairman? I pick Zugabe. Second by Mr. Woodbeaver. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried 6-0. Thank you. There are two meetings tonight. Our first meeting is reorganization meeting, where our re-elected board members are sworn in and a president is elected, president of the board is elected, and we also renew policies and make specialized appointments. Our first order of business tonight is to give the oath of office to our re-elected board members, Richard Fernandez and Mary Romano. Repeat after me. I, Richard Fernandez,
I, Mary Romano,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
trustee of the Haverstraw Stony Point Central School District.
trustee of the Haverstraw Stony Point Central School District.
And congratulations. Thank you. I now entertain a nomination for President of the Board of Education. I have a motion. Mrs. Zuckerby nominates Robert Masiello. May I have a second?
I'd like to second.
Seconded by Mary Romano. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried 6-0. Congratulations. The meeting is now turned over to Mr. Masiello, our new president. Yes, sorry.
Let's get this one. Is this?
I, Robert Masiello,
do
solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of
the duties of President
President of the Haverstraw
Haverstraw Stony
Stony
Point
Point Central School
Central School District
District Board
Board of Education.
Thank you.
Okay, now I'd like to have a nomination, if I may, for the vice president. Mrs. Gaddy. Second by Hannah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Okay. Motion passes 6-0.
I, Richard Fernandez, solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
What is the agenda?
Vice President of the Haverstraw-Stony Point District, Central School District Board of Education. Board of Education, according to the best of my ability. Thank you. Till the number passes.
Next item, we're going to appoint a district clerk to have an oath of office. We're going to have a motion. Peggy and Mr. Fernandez, second. All in favor? Any nays? Motion passes 6-0. We're now going to swear in district clerk. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I, Sarah Lively,
I, Sarah Lively,
do solemnly swear that
do solemnly swear
I will support the Constitution
the
of the United States
Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
District Clerk of the Haverstraw-Stony Point Central School District.
District Clerk of the Haverstraw-Stony Point Central School District, according to the best of my ability.
Sign that. Congratulations.
Thank you. And the rest. That's the. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to have the appointment of the district treasurer in oath of office, but that's going to be conducted tomorrow. And the appointment of the substitute treasurer oath of office. So first we'll have the appointment for the district treasurer oath of office. Can I have a motion, please? Mrs. Gaddy and Mrs. Zuckerman, second. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Okay. Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Just found out that the appointment for the substitute treasurer is going to be me. So if I may have a motion. That is fast. Mary? Harry, second. All in favor? Any nays? Okay, motion passes 6-0. Okay.
Raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Robert Masiello,
I, Robert Masiello,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
Substitute Treasurer
substitute treasurer of the Haverstraw Stony Point Central School District, according to the best of my ability.
Thank you. Please.
Okay, the next item is the tax certiorari bond. Motion's been made by Mrs. Gaddy, seconded by Mr. LaFever. Any discussion? Any nays? I'm sorry, all in favor? You want a roll call vote on that? Okay.
Mr. Fernandez? Mrs. Gaddy? Mr. Kraus is absent. Mr. LaFever? Mr. Masiello? Mrs. Romano? And Mrs. Aguirre? Motion passes.
Motion passes 6-0. Consent agenda for the action items. Use of this agenda, consent agenda, permits the Board of Education to make more effective use of their time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any member of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may so indicate, and that item will be transferred to the regular agenda for consideration in a separate vote, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. So may I have a motion to accept the consent agenda? Mrs. Romano, and seconded by Mr. Fernandez. Any discussion? All in favor? Any nays? Motion passes 6-0. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. LaFever, seconded by Mr. Fernandez. All in favor? All nays? Any nays? Motion passes 6-0. Okay. Okay, now that we do that every July, we reorganize, as you see, unrehearsed. We got through it. So, I'm still trying to figure out the Chromebook. Okay, so we're going to dispense with the pledge and the roll call. We're going to start with any board member reports. Mr. Fernandez.
Yes, Mr. Mansell, I have a couple of items. First, I'd like to say a special thank you for Mrs. Romano for serving as president for 2 years. You did an exceptional job. It's 3 years. 3 years. Mr. You just corrected in 3 years. You did an exceptional job, and you really dedicate so much of your time. It's not easy sitting in that hot seat. That's why I'm the VP, but I'm staying on this end for now. You know what I'm saying? So you sat in that hot seat, and more or less your leadership, your kind heart, and your skill and knowledge was greatly appreciated. You did a wonderful job for our district and for the board. And Mr. Masiello, you sat in that VP spot, and thank you for your service. And now you got the big spot with the big paydays too. You know, so
With you on my side, Rich, I think we can do it.
Yeah, okay. We'll do well. God willing. A couple other items. Thank our administrators, faculty, and staff for hosting another successful Norfolk High School graduation. We had a total of 640 graduates. Congratulations to all our graduates and their families. And most notably, that ceremony was done in 57 minutes. I remember Mr. Levine was timing it. And the video online is like 1 hour and 10 minutes because that's all the setting up and stuff. But once pomp and circumstance started to play, it was 57 minutes. It's funny because I remember when we were gathering up to do the ceremony, I jokingly said that I prepared an 1.5 hour speech that I wanted to share. And Mrs. Edgar gave me the dirtiest look you can ever imagine. I didn't know you had that in you, Mrs. Edgar. But, that wasn't happening. But well done job. We also thank our administrators, faculties, and staff for hosting numerous moving up ceremonies and other year events at all our schools. A lot of happenings at our schools as the year ended, and the children really enjoyed their time. All fall sports commence in August. Modified sports begin the week of September 4th. Reminder, the Norfolk Central School District has transitioned to online athlete registration. All student athletes must register online. This past month, Mrs. Eckert was honored by the Rockland County School Board Association. Congratulations to Mrs. Eckert on her well-deserved recognition. Just a couple of reminders, we're on Facebook, Twitter. Each of our respective schools has their own website. There's the district website. This meeting that you see there, log on to the Central School District website and go to Board of Education on the board docs. You would see that right up there. That's posted up there, plus minutes from past meetings. If you wish to share a public comment, sign in by Mr. Baird. He has a sheet up there if anyone wishes to public comment. And we wish all of you a wonderful 4th of July as we celebrate our 242nd year of independence. Is that correct, Mr. Friedman? You're the history teacher? Yes, it is, sir. Have a great 4th of July, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. Fernandez. Are there any other board member reports? Okay. We're going to move on to our first presentation. For the West Haverstraw Elementary School Heroic Act, Esther Rosewood as monitor.
Mrs. Esposito, if I could have you join us.
We would like to thank Esther Grossen for her heroic act at West Harvester Elementary School. A student began to choke in the cafeteria. Esther is one of our amazing monitors who immediately jumped into action and performed the Heimlich maneuver so that this child could begin breathing again. And he was brought immediately to the nurse. And we just, want to acknowledge these types of acts of, our wonderful staff members who, do not hesitate for a second to, save the life of a child, or just to do anything for the benefit of a child. So I would like to thank Esther personally, and would you please come up here to accept her award.
Congratulations, Esther. We can sure use more people like you. And I'm going to give you a list of the restaurants that I'm going to. You can find your way there, that'd be great. Next award is the Harvester Elementary School Business Extreme Students Award. Jennifer.
And Mr. Herrero, if you could come up with our guest.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, members of the Cabinet and Board of Education members. We have a brief presentation. Also, thank you, members of the public, for being here tonight, and family members for bringing your children. We would like to share with all of you a story that happened this year at Harvester Elementary. This group of students came to me back in the fall, and they said to me that they wanted to open up a business. And I didn't know what to make of that proposal. But I thought it was intriguing. You may know or may not know, I do have a background in business education. I did earn an MBA back in my days. And anything having to do with business kind of, strikes my imagination and my fancy. And I said, children opening up a business in an elementary school, that sounds interesting. So we spoke about it. And I am going to introduce this I think I'm going to start with Luke Alvarez, who I call the President and Chief Executive Officer. Luke is the young man to the left. And the others, I would call them founding members. So I would put them all on equal terms, or on equal level. And they will introduce themselves as they speak. They have a brief speech. But we wanted to share with you a story of creativity, a story of initiative, a story of entrepreneurship, basically what America is all about. And now that we celebrate our Independence Day tomorrow, America is a country in which we all strive to create things, to do the best we can. And when they opened up the business, I said, what are you going to do with the money? And they said, well, we want to donate it to the High Tor Animal Shelter. And I think I have a member of the High Tor Animal Shelter. Are you here today? Please come forward. Because as part of this brief presentation, we're going to present a check to, I think, a member of the board, right? You are? Nice to meet you, Mr. Bernardo. Thank you for being here with us today. So I'm going to allow the students to speak because nobody better than them to tell us their story. So please be with us for a few minutes. I really wanted to share with you what they did and how they did it. So who's going to start? The president, of course, Luke.
Hello, everyone. everyone, my name is Luke, and today I brought some friends with. This is Grace and Joseph, this is Anthony Cuccinello, that's Christopher Massillon, and this is Evan Richardson. Today we would like to talk to you about something that we do for fun, and at the moment it's a bit of an occupation. We call it the Extreme Comics. We love to make comic books and books.
Correct. We are very proud to be able to say that we started our own business in our school, raising over $400 and all in a couple short months. But this money is not for us. It's all going to the High-Tour Animal Shelter. And sometimes it got hard because we were only in 4th grade and school was way more important than this. And sometimes people didn't see eye to eye with our vision.
And before we start the full story, we would like to thank our administrator, Mr. Herrera. We thank him for very much with his support and all throughout 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. And also thank you to Mrs. Eckerd for allowing us to be here. So let's get started. We were all in 4th grade and we were really interested in the same idea, which was to make a difference in the community. We all had our own talents and we agreed to donate the profit we made to the shelter. For instance, Anthony and I love to make ideas. Luke and Grace know how to draw and write really good stories. Even Evan and Angel are great editors, and they found their interest in taking care of the money that we would raise.
This idea stuck with us for 4th grade. We decided to take action for the animals. First, we needed people who liked our idea. So we spread out and started asking people if they were interested in the book we were making. It was a 50-50 answer, but we were still satisfied with that because it was better than a complete 100% no. Once we did that, we reached the hardest part, actually becoming a business. We needed to speak to the principal.
Mr. Herrera is a busy man, and who can blame him? I bet all of you are too. So stage 2 of our plan took about a month. We were waiting and waiting until one day, as we worked on a new book called Stones in the library. Mr. Herrera walks into the room, and this is what we were waiting for. This was our big chance. We walked up to him and showed him some of our products. So we were caught up with him, and in our conversation that we ended up with some lunch.
The next day we celebrated as we took the day off. We were on top of the world, but that only lasted for about 2 days. We made some announcements asking people to bring some money, but no one really did. That lasted all through 4th and 5th grade. We only made pocket change money, about $25.73 to be exact. We knew that we were not matching up with the goal that we set for ourselves. So we decided to approach the problem at a different angle.
Now in 6th grade, we started up small again. As people forgot the extreme trail, we still worked on it. We made sure that those animals would not die a death that they didn't deserve. We gathered up all of our products and we were ready to sell. But before we sold, we needed to inform everyone that we were back. So what better to do this than a public speaking event? It was the beginning of the school year, so we were willing to take our chances. We needed to have a great first impression.
So we got ourselves prepared for the big day, practicing every night and communicating on our walkie-talkies. And yes, we were really that serious and have walkie-talkies. With sweaty palms and butterflies in our stomachs, we took the stage. Word by word, we noticed smiles and people whispering to each other that we had a really great idea. Everyone loved it. Later that day, we sold making close to $100. That means we sold over 70 homemade comic books and books combined. We then sold the next day, making close to $80. Then the next week, we made close to $75. Everyone was congratulating us and saying that they were inspired and that they wanted to start their own club, and they were asking how we did it. But then when we stopped selling, because they had basically bought all our product, they started to make fun of us, and that made us feel embarrassed and ashamed. But we knew that giving up would just only make it worse. So with the audacity, we decided to keep going. We sold and sold. We really wanted to prove to people and ourselves that we could do this and that we were not at rock bottom. Then we remembered that no animal gets left behind. We wanted to make sure of that, but were we falling short of that? When animals die every day because we weren't doing what we were. The thought really saddened us, so we used that as motivation. A couple of days later, we found out that we were nominated to be on CNN 10, and we got our own office. We waited and waited to get the call, and we still are at the moment. So as we waited, we sold some more. No, now we are so close to $500. And if we made it on the news, we would receive $250,000.
We now wanted to spread the word just a bit more, and we wanted our legacy to carry on. So we did some more public speaking to parents and educated the newest group coming in on what every day at our office was like. As the school year ended, winded down, we wanted to thank everyone for their support. So we did a couple of more announcements, and then as our work was done in that school.
Notice how we said that school. We still won't give up, and we will make sure we succeed. Before we had started this, we had no idea of how many animals died each year in the New York State. According to the New York Times, in 2003, the shelters killed more than 60% of the dogs and cats that they took in. That number is down to 13% now. That is still a high number. 40% still do that.
But if we keep doing what we're doing and helping our community, we won't stop until that number is 0%. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Really, very much information. We're going to get a couple of pictures. And I'm going to give the check to our representative from the animal shelter. But I wanted to just say one more thing. They really created a legacy because all throughout this year, Ms. Kalia and myself were actually extremely busy taking applications for new businesses. So there is I don't know, it's like a fashion or some type of wave to create businesses. So let me just this is the check for
Can I ask a comment? What show you were in fourth grade or fifth grade? You're both fourth grade? Yeah. Meeting. But this is the future right here, and you can see how well they demonstrated that and how well they conducted the whole thing. Just give them another hand and applause.
I expect to see them in the Academy of Finance.
Yeah.
We've always been proud with the Academy that RCC runs an entrepreneurial contest, as you know, and schools from all over the county compete, including students from RCC. And we have won it, I think, every year except one, and the year we didn't win it, we didn't compete. We wanted to give somebody else a chance. It happened to be on our Easter break or something, and we couldn't compete that year. But this is where it begins. I always say, you know, the success that we see at our high school begins really in our K-3 schools and follows to the 4 to 6 and middle school and high school. It doesn't magically happen in high school. It's every teacher in the district from kindergarten on up, just, you know, encouraging that creativity and that out-of-the-box thinking and that community service. We're very proud of our students and the amount of community service that they do in our community. And this is just a fine example of these young men, and we couldn't be more proud of you. And keep it up, and I hope to hear even grander and better things as you grow through high school and beyond. And now another young lady, and I don't know if she's here, Lauren Almer. She's not here. Okay, Lauren Almer was our swimmer of the year, the Journal News swimmer of the year. So we do have an award for her, and maybe Debbie, you could take it, and I know that you know her mom.
I think she's away swimming at
The girls swim team had a great year this year, and she certainly is an exceptional swimmer, and we're very, very happy for her as well. And now, Roshini, come on. We have so many programs that obviously we're so proud of, and another one of those is our Academy of Engineering. As you know, we started with a very successful Academy of Finance many years ago, I think 15 or 16 years ago now. And it's such a strong model where kids really get to hone in on an area that they're interested in and get to expand and become proficient and almost have like a job-like experience while still in high school. Really following with that model, we have since then started an Academy of Engineering at the high school, where children really follow certain course offerings and they end up with an activity or something that they have to do related to engineering between their junior and senior year. And then senior year, they do a senior project, and they have a dinner at the end of the year. And I was fortunate enough to hear two of the presentations that were being shared that night. And Roshini not only did an excellent presentation that night that she's going to share with us today, she's also our valedictorian this year. And we're so proud of her, but I'm going to turn it over to her because I wanted you to see a flavor of just some of the thinking and creativity that goes into the Academy of Engineering, and just how well prepared our students are coming out, and she is pursuing that area. So I know she's going to do great things in the future as well.
Hello, everyone. So basically, what my senior project is about is creating a STEM program at Fields Elementary School. Okay, so I hope you're familiar with this. This is Fields. I actually went to Fields Elementary School from 1st grade to 4th grade. And in the school, there was a club called the Mad Science Club. And that was what got me interested in the whole math, science, engineering field. And I don't believe that this program is still there, and this is what kind of got me initiating the idea of creating the STEM program. So basically my goal is to create this STEM program. It would be after school, and why I want to do it is because to start at a young age would help by the time these kids enter high school. Like, we have so many clubs offered at the high school. There's robotics, Rube Goldberg, Science Olympiad, Academy of Engineering, robotics, and like, by the time they get there, they know that they can be involved, and they already have the interest in the field. And it's also to get more kids interested in the engineering field. Oh, I broke it. Oh, no, I did it. Okay. So basically, just some statistics to get the idea going is that between 2010 and 2020, there will be a 14% increase in jobs in the engineering field. However, by 2018, this year, 3 billion of those jobs are going unfulfilled. Why is that? It's because 16% of high school seniors is shown to only have an interest in the STEM field. My grade has 664 kids, so 16% of those kids, that's not a lot. And it's according to statistics, they say by 4th grade, 1/3 of boys and girls lose the interest in science, and by 8th grade, 50% of kids lose the interest in math, and they all ask that same question, like, why do we need algebra? I'm never gonna use this in my life, but they do need it in their life. All right, so why should it be invoked in elementary schools? It's the same reason why a lot of parents make their kids play the violin or the piano at a young age, such as like 4 or 5, like my parents did. It's to start young, it's to get their creativity going. Kids at this age, they like, researchers show like this is when they're the most curious, they ask the most questions about the world, and why not use it at this age and help them answer these questions and spur their creativity almost. So basically, again, just as I'm saying, is we're to create this program, how it would work is it wouldn't be a program run by teachers, it would be run by the students of the high school. Right now, we have a Tech Honor Society, so my idea would be to take the students from the high school, send them down to Fields Elementary School as an after-school program, and they would engage with the students and interact and teach different activities towards them. Okay, so basically my senior project, I made it into a feasibility study. So I made it from least feasible to most feasible. So I'm not gonna go through them all because I don't wanna bore you guys to death, but basically what my 3 ideas are, least feasible would be to reconstruct an entire classroom at Fields Elementary School. And then my second idea, which is kind of feasible, but again, money is a factor, would be to rent and use a portable classroom. And the easiest idea is to convert the art room into a STEM room as an after-school program. So I'm not going to get into the constructing an entire classroom, but I do have a procedure if anybody wants to see it as to more details into it. It would cost a lot of money, $1.5 million, which I don't think is likely, but I did put it in there. But yeah, I'll just move on. So basically, the button again. This button doesn't like me. All right, so the second idea is a portable classroom. So what is a portable classroom? It is a modular classroom or a trailer classroom. Wait, they changed. Okay, all right. So basically, it's a modular trailer classroom. It's like an add-on to the building almost, and it's temporary. So basically, the company, which I'll talk about later, they place this in the placement you want, which we do have room at Fields to place, and how the cost is created is based on the size of the modular classroom. Okay, so why is this kind of better than the first idea? First off, it's cheaper. It's $1.5 million, and also it's temporary. So let's say this project isn't as we desired, it can be removed. And also time-wise, it's so much faster. This can be done within the time of a week once it would be hopefully approved. Basically, just to talk cost-wise, it would be $100 to $600 per month rental rate, which would $10,000, $50,000. It's again the reason why there's so much range in prices is because depending on the size. $10,000 to $50,000 fixed price, $1,000 for delivery and setup. $40 to $200 per square feet, and basically the total budget would be between $50,000 to $200,000. Now again, I know it's a lot, but again, it's better than $1.5 million. And these are just some of the sizes that they offer. Now, where this would be located is, I was thinking of the northeast side of Fields Elementary School. So this is by the playground area, and I know that I'll explain that again later, but the dimension size is 70 feet by 30 feet, and that's just, ooh, I got a pointer. So that's, this is 70 feet right here, but if you go from here to here, that's 100 feet, but only from here to here, that's 70 feet. So there's more than enough room. And I know it's a playground, and I know that seems evil, tear down the playground, but if you look at the next slide here, it's okay, they're fine, the kids aren't gonna be scarred, there's a whole playground right here, they're okay. So it is possible. So the company I was thinking that we could use is called, Okay, the company that I was thinking that we could use is called the ModSpace Company. There are two companies I was thinking of, but this one's closer. The other one's called the William Scott Company. This one's located in Farmingdale, New York, and these are the sizes that they offer. And for this specific project, I was thinking the 28 by 64 size classroom would be best, since the size of the playground there is 30 by 70 feet. So this is just what the classroom looks like. These are some of the features of it. It's 1792 square feet. It's 8 feet ceiling, and these are just some features if you want to know more about. It does come with its own set of desks and chalkboards and restrooms, so that's a plus side. And just to see more of it, this would be the interior of it. This is it with the desks. And yeah, it's actually pretty neat. Cool. So if you want to know more about that and the like kind of nitty, like gritty details of it and like exactly the permits and the design and engineering, I do have a procedure here and it goes step by step. Again, I don't want to bore you guys to death with it, so we'll just keep going. So the third idea, which I do like the best, is converting the art room into a STEM room as an after-school program. Only as an after-school program, not trying to destroy the art program, anything like that. But this is the art room if you're not familiar with it. It is actually the largest classroom at Fields Elementary School with a 24 feet by 44 feet, which I did measure. And it holds a capacity of 30 students. How this would work is North Rockland High School, our school ends at 2:06 p.m. and Fields Elementary ends at 3:46 p.m. So that gives like approximately around an hour for high school students to go home, eat, do whatever they have to do, and then from 4 to 5, like seniors by then, they have cars and stuff, so we could drive down, or they can get a ride where they can go from 4 to 5 to teach these kids different activities. So why is this the most feasible? It's a lot cheaper because there's already a classroom there. We don't need to import a whole new classroom there, and the materials are readily available. And also, kids would be more than welcome to help offer their time and volunteer for volunteer hours, of course, because they would do it for volunteer hours because now with all the honor societies. So again, here are just some more pictures of the art room. As I started looking at the art room and I was there, I spent a lot of time at Fields, and I started thinking, why not even if this idea doesn't go to hand, I did start thinking about why not redesigning the art room a little bit so that they could use their space more wisely, because it's exactly the same since I've been there. So while I was doing this project, I did create a design as to if I wanted my ideal classroom kind of thing. But here, I'll show you in the next slides. But here are some materials if we didn't have them in theory, but in reality, I'm trying to change this slide. Hey, okay. Just keep going. Sorry. Oh, okay. One more slide. Okay, so this is in theory. If we didn't have these materials, this is the cost it would be. But in reality, we do have all these materials readily for us, so this price actually wouldn't matter because we have the desks, we have the pencils, we have everything there for us. We would just have to be having the approval for the classroom. Okay, so as I was saying before, as I was in Fields Elementary School and as I was in the art room, I did think about how if we wanted to redesign the art room. So this is my dream classroom also, but I noticed that when I was there, the desks were a little withered down and stuff like that, so I thought, why not put in like science lab desks like the engineering rooms have, and it just uses the space more wisely, kind of. I noticed in the back there were like a lot of sinks, so I was thinking maybe we could have some of those sinks, like we could put in like some computers there for the STEM class, for the STEM program. And again, like none of the art materials and stuff would be damaged or anything like that. But here are some more pictures kind of what I was thinking. This is the old classroom. This is what I would like it to be. In theory. Also, I know this is kind of picky of me, but like if you look here, the smartboard is here and like the chalkboard's here. In the one that I was hoping that the smartboard would be kind of in the front of the room. I know that's just me being picky, but that was something that like I noticed like a lot of the kids were straining their heads here, so that's something you want to take into consideration. Okay, so next up, what I was going to talk about is the curriculum. So some of the things that I'm a part of the Academy of Engineering, some of the things that we did learn in the Academy of Engineering is neat handwriting. So these are just some of the things that I would hope when the students go down to Fields Elementary for the program that they would teach the kids kind of and engage with them with. And the number one thing I think is important in engineering is neat handwriting. If they can't convey their own message of creativity, then their ideas won't be conveyed. I think that makes sense. But then the next idea I had was project would be an egg obstacle. So this button really doesn't like me. So basically, at the Academy of Engineering, we have this week called Egg Week. We hate it because basically we have a bunch of courses where all the kids have to figure out how to get this egg through it all under 5 minutes, and it can't crack because if it cracks, we lose points. So it's very stressful. We always have to take the whole week and figure it out on our own. We get a limited amount of materials. So what I was thinking for a project-wise is that the high school kids could go down and they can have a simplified version of the egg obstacle, and like these kids can kind of get their minds going and their brains going and thinking outside of the box almost, and they can try to figure it out. And another thing that I really think is important in the Academy of Engineering that I've learned is teamwork. So if we could start getting them to learn to work together kind of at this age and kind of think out of the box together as a collective group, like that would be great by the time we reach the high school. Okay, so this is like another project I thought was pretty cool. This is the fun part of my project where I just kind of created a curriculum of my own, but another is like build a roller coaster. Again, this causes them to work together, think outside of the box, use limited resources, and get their creativity going. And then this is another one. The propeller car, I based it off of, in Tech Honor Society, we have to create a helicopter. Again, all the engineering kids are very stressed whenever we have to do this because we have like a set of limited rules and it's kind of a competition. So I thought, why not create their own competition except with a propeller car? So this would also get them more intrigued, kind of. So this is just another idea. And again, this is just to reiterate my goal. So it's just to get more kids interested in the engineering field. And I really am grateful for the Academy of Engineering and what it's done for me. So I only hope that more kids can join it, and especially more girls, because in my grade right now, in my class, there were only 4 girls too. So like maybe to get that going more. And I just want these kids to realize how special that class was to me, and hopefully they can share that same joy. And thanks for listening. I'm also going to Northeastern University and I'm majoring in engineering.
Thank you, Roshani, and I know that we're going to hear wonderful things that she's going to be doing in the next few years. I just want to mention, as you know, we have the Academy of Art, also for the students in the fine arts, and we'll be unveiling the Academy of Health and the medical field. So again, high school to us is about finding your passion and finding those things that you may want to pursue beyond. And we know this generation of students is probably, according to the future, is going to have 10 to 15 careers in their lifetime. But we hope that at least the high school years gives them an opportunity to find out what that next step might be in college. And we know beyond that, there are going to be many opportunities that they'll engage in. But we're very proud of the work that we're doing in those academies.
Mrs. Zach, I just want to say that all these academies we have, we haven't added more staffing. This has all been done through reorganization and looking at things a little differently. So it's done through a lot of creative ways.
And if I'm not mistaken, there are not many other schools in Rockland County that have these academies. Even the Academy of Finance that we've had, we're the only one. So congratulations again, it was very comprehensive.
Wow.
Okay, we're going to move on to old business. Seeing that there is none. Any correspondence?
No correspondence.
Okay. We're going to open up for public comment. Anyone interested, you can come and sign in. The Board of Education welcomes comments from our community. If you wish to address the board, please sign in. When addressing the board, please state your name and address. Remarks should be addressed to the board president. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes. All speakers are to conduct themselves in a civil manner, respecting others' viewpoints. The board will not permit in public session discussion involving individual district personnel or students. Persons wishing to discuss matters involving individual district personnel or students should present their comments and or concerns to the superintendent during regular business hours. Anyone on the list? No? No? Okay. Okay. Action items? So we'll go down to retirements. Okay, under instructional retirements, we have the first one. Rich, would you like to read that, please?
Just make the font size. Whereas Miss Christina Acardino has served the North Rockland Central School District with dedication for a total of 19 years. And whereas she has submitted her resignation for retirement purposes, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the superintendent of the school, hereby accepts with deep regret the resignation of Christine Acardino, special subject health teacher, effective September 2018. And be it further resolved that the Board of Education September 11th, I said the font size here, okay. September 11th, 2018, and be further resolved that the Board of Education wishes Ms. Acardino and her family much happiness in the future.
Second by the full board? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Is she here tonight? Is she here? Okay, congratulations. Okay, our next is a retirement for non-instructional. Mary, would you like to read that?
Janet Lamana. Whereas Ms. Janet Lamana has served the North Rockland Central School District with dedication for a total of 19 years, and whereas she has submitted her resignation for retirement purposes, therefore be it resolved that the Board of Education, upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, hereby accepts with deep regret the resignation of Janet Lamana Courier, effective August 31st, 2018, and be it further resolved that the Board of Education wishes Ms. Lamana and her family much happiness in the future.
Okay, is, I have a motion? Second by the whole board? Any discussion? Okay, any opposed? Motion passes 6-0.
No, we didn't vote.
Can I, all in favor, please? Okay. Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. That's why Mrs. Romano is so close. She has a prod. If you don't see it under the table, it's an electric prod. Okay. She's good at this. Okay, motion passes 6-0. Congratulations, Mrs. Romano. Is she here? Okay, we're going to the consent agenda. For all of the action items that we have already discussed, use of the consent agenda permits the Board of Education to make more effective the use of time by adopting a single motion to cover those relatively routine matters which are included. Any members of the board who wishes to discuss individually a particular piece of business on the consent agenda may do so, indicate, and the item that will be transferred to the regular agenda for consideration and a separate vote, thus preserving the right of all board members to be heard on any issue. Okay, can I have a motion to pass by Mrs. Romano and second by Mr. Fernandez? Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion passes 6-0. Anyone who's present and is present and is appointed for any one of the positions that we had during the consent agenda, could you please stand? Introduce yourself. If you could, one at a time, if you could introduce yourself and tell us where you'll be working.
Brian Bergamudo, I'll be at Haverstraw Elementary School today.
Congratulations to you all. We look forward to working with you in the district. Thank you very much. Okay, can I have a motion to close the meeting, please? Almost everybody. Mrs. Sigaby, seconded by Mr. Fernandez. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 6-0.